In an ancient African village named Gbazar-Nkwoegwu, nestled between dense jungles and wide rivers, life was governed by age-old traditions and values passed down through countless generations. This village, while modest, held a deeply rooted cultural system that unified its people, whose lives intertwined through shared stories, communal rituals, and respect for the supernatural forces that governed their world. Gbazar-Nkwoegwu's people revered their ancestors and the gods, whose favor and guidance they sought in everything, from the harvest to matters of health and leadership. At the heart of this village was a kingship system unique in its own way, one that rotated between four prominent families. These four families were the pillars of Gbazar-Nkwoegwu society: the Obiuks, the Okudovis, the Nimides, and the Ijinas. Each family was descended from warriors and leaders who had defended the land from invaders, protected their people from famine, and preserved the ancient ways. Due to their loyalty and wisdom, these families were chosen by the gods to share the burden of leadership. The rule of the village passed from family to family, each rotation bringing a new king, who was always the eldest male in his line. This system ensured fairness, giving each family a turn to guide the people of Gbazar-Nkwoegwu, while preventing any one family from gaining too much power. Over generations, the people trusted this structure, which kept peace and harmony in the village. When the eldest male in one family passed, the kingship would automatically transfer to the eldest male in the next family, and so the cycle continued, as the people of Gbazar-Nkwoegwu believed that the gods had blessed this way of governance. Elders of the village often told tales around evening fires of how the gods themselves had come down from the heavens to approve this system. From the youngest children to the oldest villagers, all knew and respected this tradition. Even in times of hardship, the four families upheld this sacred trust, maintaining unity in the community. However, there came a day when fate brought forth a king, whose heart held a darkness that none in Gbazar-Nkwoegwu had foreseen. His name was Gbazigi, a member of the Obiuk family, and the eldest male when his family's turn to rule had come. At first, Gbazigi showed no sign of the greed that would later consume him. He was a young, charismatic man, and the villagers welcomed him eagerly as their new king, believing that he would follow the wisdom and virtue that his ancestors had shown. In his early days as king, Gbazigi listened carefully to the advice of the elders and upheld the village's customs. The people respected him, and he appeared to respect them in return. But with each passing season, the crown weighed heavily on him, not as a burden but as a temptation. He felt the power of kingship in his hands, a power unlike anything he had ever known. Over time, a poisonous thought took root in his mind. Why should I give up this power? Why should I, King Gbazigi, hand over this kingship to another family when my own family could keep it for eternity? This desire grew into an obsession, and Gbazigi began to consider ways to seize power permanently. His eyes lingered on the symbols of his rule: the golden staff, the king's sacred ring, and the ancestral robe that only the king could wear. He became possessive, not only of these artifacts but also of the respect and authority that came with them. Soon, his mind became twisted with a plan to ensure that his family, the Obiuks, would be the eternal rulers of Gbazar-Nkwoegwu. Knowing that he could not act openly without arousing suspicion, Gbazigi turned to a group of village chiefs whom he believed he could sway to his cause. These were men of influence, some greedy and easily tempted by promises of wealth or higher positions. Others were cunning and held resentments or grudges that Gbazigi could exploit. In secret meetings held in dimly lit huts and secluded corners, he shared his vision of a new Gbazar-Nkwoegwu where the kingship would never leave his family's hands. The chiefs, some initially shocked, eventually saw the benefits of Gbazigi's plan for themselves. They realized that if they sided with him, they too could wield more power without the oversight of the other families. Thus, Gbazigi gained their allegiance, and together, they crafted a scheme to change the structure of leadership. However, to prevent any chance of future opposition, Gbazigi knew he needed to do something drastic. He decided to eliminate the eldest males of the other 3 families, ensuring that no one else would have a rightful claim to the throne. This way, when his rule ended, there would be no elders to challenge his decree or restore the original system. This decision marked the full descent of Agbazigi into tyranny, turning him from a respected king into a heartless ruler, willing to kill to maintain his grip on power. One by one, the eldest males of the Okudovis, Nimides, and Iginas were mysteriously killed. Rumors spread throughout Gbazar-Nkwoegwu, whispers of strange sicknesses and accidents befalling the heirs, yet no one dared to voice their suspicions aloud. The families mourned, but they were helpless, unable to challenge the king without risking the lives of their kin. Agbazigi felt no remorse as he watched them grieve, as he saw their sorrow as mere obstacles cleared from his path. Once he had secured his position, Agbazigi publicly declared a new law. Henceforth, kingship would remain within the Obiuk family. The firstborn son of each king would inherit the throne, continuing the rule in a single bloodline. He proclaimed that this new order was a gift to the people of Gbazar-Nkwoegwu, a way to bring stability and continuity. In reality, it was the crowning achievement of his ambition, a means to bind the people under his family's rule forever. The villagers were stunned and afraid. Some spoke of curses and omen, fearing that Agbazigi's actions had angered the gods. But others were silenced by the king's ruthless enforcers, who patrolled the village, ensuring no one spoke against him. As time passed, the people grew resigned to this new reality, though resentment festered in their hearts. However, the gods of Gbazar-Nkwoegwu were not blind to Agbazigi's actions. They had watched as he desecrated the sacred trust that bound the 4 families. They saw his heart turn to stone, and his ambitions consumed the peace they had blessed upon Gbazar-Nkwoegwu. The spirits of the ancestors too grew restless, their voices echoing through the lands as whispers in the wind, reaching the ears of the villagers who still prayed to them. It wasn't long before Agbazigi began to feel the consequences of his betrayal. A strange sickness struck him, one that seemed to drain the very life from his body. His skin grew pale, his strength becoming weak, and a burning fever tormented him day and night. Healers from within Gbazar-Nkwoegwu and nearby villages came to his aid, bringing every herb and charm they could find, yet none could cure him. Days turned to weeks, and Agbazigi's health continued to deteriorate. His once vibrant figure now lay feeble and broken upon his bed, his eyes filled with the same fear he had instilled in others. In desperation, he called for every healer, every medicine man and woman, to seek a cure no matter the cost. Finally, word reached Gbazar-Nkwoegwu of a powerful healer from a distant village, known for his knowledge of the rarest herbs and most ancient rituals. This healer, an old man with a stooped back and hair white as snow, came to Agbazigi's bedside. After a long examination, he spoke to the king in a solemn tone. "There is but one cure for your ailment," the healer said. "A rare herb that grows only in the heart of the evil forest." The evil forest, known as Ikorugu, was a place of shadows and darkness, feared by all who knew its name.